Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to a world of laughter, learning, and entertainment. Welcome to another exciting video where we'll be shedding light on Wbgb FM. Wbgb 103.3 branded as Big 103 is a commercial adult hits frequency modulation radio station licensed to Boston, Massachusetts. Owned by Odyssey, Inc. The station serves Greater Boston. The Wbgb studios are located in the Boston neighborhood of Brighton, while the station's transmitter resides in nearby Newton. Besides a standard analog transmission, Wbgb broadcasts over 2 HD radio channels and is available online via Odyssey. Now, let's shift our attention to WEIFM 103.3. WEIFM 103.3. The station signed on the air in July 1948 as WEIFM, under the ownership of CBS. In its early years, it mainly simulcast co-owned WEEI 590 AM. Beginning in 1965, WEEI-FM began carrying the Young Sound, an easy listening format focusing on instrumental versions of recent pop tunes, which aired on many of its frequency modulation owned and operated stations. By 1969, the Young Sound had evolved to an automated top-ear hybrid format, with voice-tracked announcements by Dick Provost. In late 1972, WEEI-FM flipped to adult contemporary, then evolved into its famous soft rock format in 1977, which remained in place until 1983. During the soft rock years, WEEI-FM's playlist was limited to the softer hits of rock-oriented artists. Artists heard only on top 40 stations were not aired. As we venture forward, let's take a closer look at first top 40 era and its impact on our understanding. By 1981, all of the other owned and operated CBS frequency modulation radio stations were carrying the hot hits format, supervised by programmer Mike Joseph, except for WCBS-FM in New York City. Unlike its sister stations, though, WEIFM played hits from the past several years as well as the hits of the current day. At midnight on March 9, 1983, WEIFM changed its call sign to WHTT and rebranded as Hit Radio 103 and then Power 103. The first song under WHTT and their new format was Back on the Chain Gang by The Pretenders. The on-air DA was Alex Stone. WHTT would compete against WXKS-FM and WZOU for the next 3 years. WHTT continued with the top 40 format until 7 p.m. on July 7, 1986, when the station flipped to an adult rock format known as Boston's Quality Rock, playing a blend of softer album rock cuts, some pop songs, and some eclectic smooth jazz. The station's call sign changed to WMRQ, branded on air as Q103. The air staff stayed on from WHTT initially, though most gradually left over the next year. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine Oldies era and its connections to our previous discussions. On October 7, 1987, the station switched to an oldies format, playing the rock and roll hits from 1955 to 1969, and was branded as Oldies 103. The first song on Oldies 103 was Fun 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 by the Beach Boys. The station had a very deep playlist, playing a larger number of songs than most oldies stations. The station's call letters were soon changed to WODS to reflect the oldies format. Works staff stayed with the station despite the format change, and a couple people continued at the station right up to the station's final day in 2012. By 1989, WODS was also playing a very limited amount of music from the early eras up to 1972 mixed with the ers and ers. As time went on, WODS added more ers music but continued to focus on the ers and still played a considerable number of pre-1964 oldies. In the late years, the station rebranded as Oldies 103.3. In 2001, WODS began to move away from music. The station added more late songs and a few hits. In 2001, Little Walter's Time Machine was replaced with the Boston-based syndicated show The Losts. The program's host Barry Scott stayed with the station until Wods's final day, when he became the first to be hired away by longtime rival WROR-FM. Scott also hosted the long-running Saturday night party show featuring dance and party hits from 2003 to 2012. In 2002, WODS eliminated most of the pre-64 oldies. When new program director John Zellner arrived in 2004, the station was focusing on 1964 to 1979 with just a handful of pre-1964 oldies and early songs mixed in. In 2005, there were rumors CBS was planning to switch one of its Boston frequency modulation stations to adult hits as Jack FM, which had been successful in a number of other radio markets. WODS was one of those stations under consideration. Similar oldies stations in Chicago, Baltimore, and New York had flipped at the same time. These rumors were rendered moot when Entercom-owned WQSX 93.7 FM switched to adult hits as 93.7 Mike FM instead on April 14, 2005. Prior to the WODS only played moderate amounts of Christmas music during the holiday season and did not go wall-to-wall, even on Christmas Day. Beginning in the early years, the station began wall-to-wall Christmas music on Christmas Eve and continued until Christmas evening. Beginning in 2003, WODS played holiday music from a week before Thanksgiving until Christmas Day. However, in 2007, it started its Christmas music on Monday, November 12, and in 2008, it commenced on Thursday, November 6, the earliest it has ever been. This tradition was continued in 2009 with Christmas music playing on Friday, November 13, and it started on Thursday, November 18 in 2010. In 2011, Christmas music began on Friday, November 11. WODS added HD radio operations in 2009. Its second HD channel carried a soft rock format known as The Cove, and the channel carried a simulcast of WBZ. After the sign-on of 98.5 The Sports Hub on August 13, 2009, the simulcast moved to the channel of 98.5, while 103.3 had flipped to Christian Rock, branded as Mercy Rock, the Christian Rock of Boston. In 2007, WODS added Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the Saturdays nights at 11 p.m. and the Wolfman Jack Show Sunday nights at 11 p.m. In October 2008, WODS switched nights for the two shows and added a second airing of Avatars on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. The 2-hour version's second and third hours played in the morning and the entire 3-hour version played at night. In 2009, the morning broadcast was dropped with Avatars airing only Sundays at midnight. In 2008, WODS added Tom Kent's nationally syndicated show Wet Nights from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. As a result, the Top 20 Countdown, a Thursday night staple on WODS for many years, was moved to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Patrick Callahan as host as of October 4, 2008. The Top 20 Countdown was originally known as the Thursday Night Countdown, with hosts including Sandy Benson, Patrick Callahan, and J.J. Wright. Tom Kent's syndicated show only lasted a few months and was replaced with local programming again. In October 2009, WODS changed its station branding from Oldies 103.3 to 103.3 WODS. At that point, WODS began focusing on hits from 1970 to 1989, with only a few songs per hour. The station also played an occasional song as well. However, this adjustment did more to hurt than help in the ratings. Over the years, WODS produced numerous free summer concerts starting at the steps of Boston's City Hall Plaza in 1988 before moving to the larger Hatch Memorial Shell in May 1996. Acts who have performed as part of the concert series include Chubby Checker August 11, 1990, Paul Revere and the Raiders August 4, 1990, The Monkees, Peter Cetera, Bobby V July 7, 1990, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap July 14, 1990, The Cadillacs and the Chiffons both July 21, 1990, The Jive 5 and the Dell Vikings both July 28, 1990, and dozens more. The final concert lineup during the summer of 2012 included Jefferson Starship, Burton Cummings of the Guess Who and Rick Springfield. In this chapter, we'll be shedding light on notable WODS on-air personalities and its role in shaping our understanding. Frank Kingston Smith, Barry Scott of the Losses. Moving on to the next segment, we have second Top 40 era. On June 27, 2012, CBS announced that the station would flip back to Top 40 as 103.3 AMP radio the following day at noon. Within hours of the announcement, the air staff was laid off and the station began to run jobless, with recorded liners thanking loyal listeners of WODS and advising them that Boston's greatest hits would move to its sub-channel. One of the now unemployed Dis, Horace Street, who had been with WODS since February 1988, confirmed on the Radio Info Boston message board one that a goodbye show for the format would happen before the flip at noon. The last show of The Breakfast Club with John Laurenti and Karen Blake took place on June 28, 2012, concluding with one last song by them. Jay Gordon, Barry Scott, and both Paula Street and J.J. Wright each followed on air, playing their last respective songs for WODS, ending with Street and Wright's selection to sign off the program, Fun 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 by the Beach Boys, WODS' first song as an oldies station. Following a jobless half-hour with songs either with time or change in the title or overall theme ending with Last Dance by Boston native Donna Summer, the station went into a 5-minute-long introductory montage, culminating with the launch of AMP radio at 12 p.m., with Where Have You Been by Rioma being the first song played. As part of the format change, the classic hits format moved to WODS, displacing the Cove. WODS played Christmas music during the 2012 holiday season, replacing the Mercy Rock format, which moved to WBMX. It would be replaced with a revived Cove that following January. Former Elvis Duran and the morning show co-host TJ Taormina became the host of the station's morning drive show on April 1, 2013. On February 2, 2017, CBS Radio announced it would merge with Entercom, which locally owned WEEI, WEEI-FM, WRKO, WKAF, and WAAF. WODS, WBMX, WEEI-AM-FM, and WAAF were retained by Entercom, while sister stations WBZ and WZLX, as well as WKAF and WRKO, were spun off to iHeartMedia. WBZ-FM was then traded to BZ Broadcast Group in exchange for WMJX. The merger was approved on November 9, 2017, and was consummated on November 17. On February 26, 2019, it was reported that Entercom was flipping HD channels in 6 markets, including WODS, replacing the oldest classic hits format to its Channel Q network, which carries talk and dance music format aimed at the LGBTQ community. Morning host TJ Taormina was let go by Entercom on April 3, 2020, due to budget cuts resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Producer Matt Shearer from the TJ Show temporarily anchored mornings for the remainder of the Top 40 format's run. Get ready for a captivating exploration as we unravel the layers of Big 103 and their profound significance. At 10 a.m. on May 28, 2020, after playing Happier by Marshmello and Bastille, WODS flipped to adult hits, branded as Big 103, Music Unleashed. The new format features a playlist focusing on music from the eras through the eras. The first song on Big was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. On June 4, 2020, WODS changed their call letters to Wbgb. Concurrently, the former WODS call letters were moved to a sister station in West Hazelton, Pennsylvania. Wbgb is voiced by Howard Kogan, the same voiceover talent heard on jack frequency modulation radio stations nationwide, such as Odyssey sister station KCBS-FM in Los Angeles. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.